Hello, welcome to the Bird's Nest. I am Claudette Burden, and this is my husband. Tell him your name.
I'm Greg, and thanks for joining us. And those that have subscribed, we appreciate you.
Yes, thank you.
Please continue to tell people, let people know. Try and get more people to subscribe and check us out.
Yeah. So today we wanted to talk about why dating your spouse is so important. So we wanted to just have a little conversation about why it is important. And now I'm gonna ask Greg, why is dating so important to you?
That's funny. I pictured this conversation going a little different.
I know you did.
But so we're talking about date night, and I wanted to just get both perspectives, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, I think date night is important, and to keep dating, just keep the relationship fresh. Mm-hmm. We as people are always growing, we're always evolving, we're always doing different things with your job, with the kids, whatever. So it's important to get back to knowing each other. Mm-hmm. Now, am I the best at setting up date night? No. And I think, for a lot of us guys, and guys, you can jump in and say, I'm totally wrong, but it's just, for whatever reason, it's not on our radar. Mm-hmm. And I know there's some guys that are romantic and do that thing, and I'm not that guy. I'm learning, though, try to get better. But that's why I think date night is super important. Now, from a lady's perspective, why is date night important to you?
So, to me, date night is important. The same reasons, pretty much, is to just stay connected outside of the kids and home life and all that. But it's just a good way to work on that oneness as a couple. Have that quality time that's just us, where we're not responsible for like taking care of things and life, but just being able to enjoy each other's company. And I think for me or for us, that we've always been such good friends, even before being married and all that stuff, that like I really enjoy hanging out, just us, right. The kids, it's work, there's always stuff going on, and having to be responsible adults, and when we just get to have our date time is just our time, to kind of let loose and do our thing. And even during quarantine, we've had to be very creative, and date nights would just be at the house, but just in our own space, kind of trying to do our own thing. But date nights, like, before foreplay, like, especially if you feed me, like, food's like my love language. So it's like, sure. Hey, I like hanging out, I like eating, I like laughing, and so to me, it's just a good way to connect and not have to take care of things, but just enjoy each other's company. And like you said, like, being mindful and intentional to still like get to know each other, because you can get so caught up in just getting through the day-to-day stuff, and everything just gets repetitive and mundane, and it's like, oh, we get up, we eat, we do schoolwork, we do this, we take showers, we go to bed, you know what I mean? If we don't like break that up, then next thing you know, we won't even know each other. Like, what's been going on with you? What are your goals? What are you, what have you been thinking about? What's going on? And being able to connect and get away is really nice. So
for sure. Now, like I said, I'm not the best at this, at the best, or the best at getting date night going.
Yes, because you kind of sold yourself short there for a second, talking about guys romantic and blah blah blah. When you actually like try to be romantic, when you purposefully are romantic, right, you're actually really good at it. You just don't like. It's just hard to if
Ain't
it's
enough.
outside of like a Valentine's or an anniversary or a, but like it's
Yeah.
if it's got a specific date to it, you're like, all right, I can come through, I can do that. But if it's like, oh, I gotta pick the date and the scenario and all of that, then you're just kind of like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
for sure. Yeah. So I guess then, but my question was going to be,
Hmm.
how do you, what do you suggest, or what do you think we can do to change that situation? As far as, um, for me, being more intentional outside of the holidays, outside of the Valentine's Day or whatever it is, what is that? Is it what does that look like to maybe somebody that doesn't know?
It looks like scheduling it.
Okay.
It looks like having regularly scheduled time that you do it. Even if you set up a calendar or if we set up a calendar together, because then
Right.
there's some accountability too, right? So like if you just have your calendar and then you're like, okay, so 2 weeks from now on Saturday, this is date night, this is what I'm doing, and then come Thursday or Friday, like if you didn't say nothing, then you might decide, oh, I don't feel like doing it this Saturday. So then there's like no accountability. But
Right,
if
so it gets crossed off.
yeah, so it's just like, yeah, so I'm gonna pass. She didn't know anyway. Maybe next week, and then next week may or may not happen.
Right.
But like if we have
so
a schedule, getting a schedule
okay.
and doing it together so that there's some accountability. But kind of like how we do our anniversaries, we trade off every year.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun. That's a good suggestion just to keep it in your mind, because when we first got married, it was kind of just like expected, I guess, that you would take care of that. It's our anniversary. I'm the lady, like woo me, And after a while, I kind of thought about it. I was like, well, that's not really fair. And so then we decided we would alternate. So every other year, we plan the anniversary. So this year is his turn, next year is my turn, and then we alternate like that. So, but we could schedule and do the same kind of thing with date night, to where it's not just for you. Because I know I do sometimes kind of put that on, like, when you gonna take me out, and why are we not going on no date? And you're like, when's the last time you planned a date?
Right. No, it's keeping it real.
We're keeping it real, right? Isn't that what we're doing?
That's the thing.
So I know that sometimes it can be like that, but if we, kind of make a plan and set some dates, then we can have them more regularly, and it's not on one person to do all the planning.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be expensive things. It doesn't have to be out of the house things all the time. It doesn't.
But that's the hard part too.
Because I'm still trying to get used to being out of the house.
Yeah, that's like, the hard part too. Is with the kids and everything like that, the dogs and blah blah blah, and everybody.
Lottie dottie and everybody.
Lottie dottie and everybody. We gotta schedule them as well, right? So we got to figure out time where we can hang out and still feed them, take care of them, make sure that they don't die while we're.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
That just went real left real quick. Like we went all the way there.
We trained them.
I mean, we didn't even start from starve. Like we went straight to die. Like
it's a thing. It happens.
It does.
So we don't want them to die.
No.
So we got to figure out that part. And so even us, making the schedule, making the date night, and making it together, it's still. I think it's one of those things where you have to be able to be fluid and be able to, if it doesn't happen,
were already trying to get out of it.
Not be upset about it, but just like, okay, so what's an alternative? Or if it can't happen in this way, what does it look like happening maybe in another way?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. The house is good and things like that. And I mean, it was a little harder, I guess, when they were younger, because you got to find a sitter and our grandparents available and things like that. But we've always been pretty good about finding our time to have just us time. And especially now that the kids are older, that's even easier. I mean, come on now, like our kids, they are pretty self-sufficient. Sure. They'll be like, cook, we could do that, or bye.
We don't like them. We don't like them cooking.
We don't like them cooking in our house, especially when we're not here.
Right.
But I'm just saying, but again, if you have it set, we have a calendar or a plan of action, then yes, be fluid in that in case something comes up or whatever, and then shift back and come up with another plan. But I think that, if we work together, plan, have all that set up, oh, maybe pizza night won't be Friday night because Saturday night we're going to do our date. So, kids, you're going to have pizza Saturday night because we're not going to be here, whatever.
Right.
So that's why it's good to, kind of have a game plan and not just have for a date. All right, well, let's plan a date.
Yeah.
Then the pressure's on.
Sure. All right. So let's throw out maybe a couple suggestions for date nights. Maybe some of the things we've done together, and we could share with our audience. Because we're pretty creative, I think, and have come up with some creative ways to connect with each other. So we'll just share a couple, and it might be something for you. It might not. It might just start the thing going to where you can think about some date nights. So I know one good one, and we'll kind of go back and forth about it, but is cards. We play rummy. Super competitive, you know what I mean? She she would beat me every time. But I got to a point where, what I'm saying, your boy's getting better. You're getting a little bit better. So it goes
I don't
back
think we played since you won because you was like, I'm just going to keep my W.
She was hurt. She was salty.
I think you just was like, I'm going to keep my W and I'm going to take my chances.
Nah, I think you were like a little upset about it, and that's okay.
I think we're going to run it back then, and then we'll just...
So cards. We play cards together, and not just rummy, but we like Phase 10. What's some other good date nights?
With quarantine and stuff, we really had to be. One of the fun ones was wine tasting.
Yep.
So we did a wine tasting here at the house. The kids stayed upstairs. We got a couple of different wines to try that we hadn't tried before from South Africa. I think I got.
We were trying to stick with the theme of Black History. South Africa is not necessary, but Africa, we put that in there.
I tried. I tried. I did my best. But we did the date night here with did like a little wine tasting, and we had our own alone time. But our youngest daughter, she did want to host, so she was bringing our charcuterie, however you say it. I don't want to say the funny way that I like to say it because that's not appropriate. But so she participated in that. But we had our our whole little ambiance and good conversation and music and candles and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it was set up really nice, and we had a good time.
Yeah.
We got to hang out and talk, and that's the main thing too. I think about the date nights that I get from it is the time to just talk.
Right.
No matter what we're doing, there's gonna be that time where we just talk about something.
Right.
And if it could just be talking about work, it could be talking about the future. Do we talk about the past? We'll remember something that happened, on our wedding night or whatever. But it's just getting that time to talk about something.
Right.
And because in the hustle and bustle and the regular work life, there's not a lot of time where you just get to sit down and talk and just reconnect with each other. So that's the main thing that I take from the date night, and one of the main reasons why I think you should keep doing date nights.
Yes, and even if it's just like cooking at the house, like just doing your regular dinner.
Well, see, I don't like people in the kitchen though. When I'm in the kitchen,
you don't.
So that's I
was going there.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh.
You really did say, like, you need water right now? You gotta have water while I'm cooking?
I'm saying, just get out the kitchen. Get out the kitchen for a second.
So, but the thing is finances for a lot of people.
Right.
It's, putting the money into even just wine tasting, that still costs a little bit of money. I kept it low in the budget, but it's still, there's cost to that. But even if you're cooking, you're going to have dinner every night anyways, right? So you can feed the kids, say, hey, you guys go to your rooms, or it's time for bed, or put on a movie or whatever, and you have your time where you're just at the table by yourself, having your date night, eating the dinner you were preparing for everyone anyway, and just taking that time to connect, talk uninterrupted. You're not worrying about the kids because you already put them somewhere
Mm-hmm.
to do something, and make that time to talk, even if it's after they actually like go to bed. Like, okay, I know some people go to bed early, but then you just make that plan to say, okay, on Thursday night that this week I'm gonna stay up a couple hours later, so that once the kids go to bed, we can sit down and we can just talk and have our date night. That's just uninterrupted our time. You got to be creative and intentional when it comes to oneness and connecting with your partner, because it does not just happen. It doesn't just happen. It takes work, especially when you throw kids in the mix, when you throw work in the mix, and you throw bills and life and all that stuff. It'll just keep piling up, and then the next thing you know is like, when was the last time we actually sat down and talked? Unless you are intentional and that you are working towards oneness with your partner, working and building on that, becoming one flesh. You can't do that if you never have a conversation. Then,
right.
There's no relationship there.
Here's the other side too. In that conversation, I think when it's that climate, when it's that moment, I think you keep it kind of light, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like this is not the time we're talking about bills.
No,
this is
no,
not the time that we're talking about we might get kicked out of our house because we don't have rent. This is the time.
No.
So that should happen.
That you have that conversation.
Have that conversation.
Do talk about that,
but
not on date night.
It's like I said, or like we both have been saying, it's connecting, and it should be fun. It should be enjoyable, so that you want to do it again. You want to go back and do it again. You don't want to look back at the date night and be like, man, why did we do that? That was horrible. Yeah, that was horrible. We just. I don't even really like her that much.
The lies you tell.
I'm not saying, but that's what happened.
Right, that'll happen. Right, because then you guys are cranky and all that.
Right.
Talking about business when you should be talking about just the union.
Right, and just hey, I love you a little bit, and you love me a little bit, and let's keep loving each other a little bit more. You know what I mean?
For a lot of time.
Yeah, for a little bit more time, a lot of time. I don't know. Might be a little bit of time. Or a long time.
Yeah, forever.
So any other date night ideas do you have?
No, I think that's a good start. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things you could do if you're into outdoors.
Night.
Oh yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, she hasn't told you she's a massage therapist, and that's what she does, and so she does that. She massages stuff, and does it well, and that's awesome. And I'm not trying to be weird about it, but she's and I do the same for her. I give her massages, and I'm pretty good at it too.
He is. I try to get him to go to school, but he doesn't want to. He's got other visions and plans, and that's fine.
Yeah,
that's what we talk about. That's the kind of stuff we talk about on a date night, right? What's your vision? What's your goals? What's God telling you is the next step? What's God's telling you is the next step for our goals in a relationship? You know.
And again, it's something that doesn't have to. It doesn't cost a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You can give somebody a massage right in your room.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just want to throw out a couple ideas and just talk about how important date night is and to us, and hopefully it's something you can think about as a couple to enrich your bond with each other, you know, and grow closer together.
Make the time.
Make the time important. For sure.
Be intentional.
So again, do you have anything?
I don't.
Okay, I guess we're gonna get ready to escape. But again, thank you for subscribing.
Yes.
Please tell others if you've enjoyed this. Tell others to subscribe.
Like, share, all that good stuff. Comment. Let us know if you have topics or subjects you want to talk about, or if you had feedback, questions about what we talked about today.
Right.
Yeah.
Be nice, and we'll be nice back.
Even if you're not nice, we're just gonna ignore you.
I might not be nice.
I'll hold him back. Be nice, babe.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.